should do superpowers.
Oh shit! Can I hold it?
Put your face into it. And just see what it look. I got your soul.
What the fuck is that? That sound like the ocean underneath there.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there had a good weekend. Happy Monday, y'all. We got a good one coming up again, y'all. Another banger for you guys, another hour banger. This 6-7 thing, it's dark. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Every time y'all see a seal like this, there's something underneath it. It's just a seal to seal what's underneath, to hide the old world. It's right here by the water. It's Shreveport. Even that train system over there, it's all old world technology, right? But underneath here, there's a whole city under here, underneath the ground. Right there, right here next to, I told you, it's right underneath. It goes right down, they created an entrance right here that they can go through. They got to go whatever the fuck's underneath here.
Wow, something definitely underneath.
And it's all connected to whatever's over there.
Right in front of us, y'all.
Every red dot is a unique IP address that is downloading and sharing child images and videos, and that's just the last 30 days in the state of New York.
Jesus.
And
is the FBI arresting these people?
well, do you see the blue dots? Those are the ones that are being investigated. So the number one offender in this, biological fathers.
Let me show you the picture closer because I know it's kind of hard to see. All of those red dots are people downloading and sharing child pornography just in the past 30 days in the New York area. And only the blue dots, only a few of them are being investigated. This is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. And I didn't really believe them. Like, there's no way. So I downloaded this app, Citizen. No, I'm not sponsored, but you can see people that are registered sex offenders just in your area, registered sex offenders. So I looked around Los Angeles and look how many there are. This is insane. I mean, how many of these people are we interacting with and just have no idea? And it's all over the world, all over the US. Check this out. Whether you're left or right, up or down, Israel or Palestine, I think we can all agree on this. This is a subject that does not get talked about enough. And maybe it's because the subject's a little hard to talk about. Maybe because it's embarrassing. Maybe the keywords on social media get censored so we don't see it as often. Maybe it's because some of the higher ups are involved. That's just a conspiracy. Who knows? But this is a big problem, and we need to raise more awareness about this because these numbers just made me sick to my stomach.
I mean, it's everywhere, y'all. It's everywhere. I remember growing up, y'all, I was in high school. I grew up with this kid, right? I went to, the Avondale school district, and then I switched, and he came over to the Litchfield. Like, I knew him, right? I knew him for a while. And he got arrested in school. Nobody knew what happened. Cops came in at school. He was underage, too. At school, arrested him. He told us he robbed a Circle K, right? That's what he told us. But then it came out that he was messing with the underage. Now he was under 18, so I don't even know how young this one was, right? That he did that to. But I mean, it's everywhere, y'all. It's everywhere.
What the fuck is that? That sound like the fucking ocean underneath there.
New Orleans is crazy, y'all. That's the ocean.
Bitch, we going under. We is about.
Well, how about Taco Bell? Taco Bell puts essentially sand, sodium bicarbonate.
Wait, bro. Hey.
No, silicon bicarbonate. I think called silicon.
You're starting some rumors.
So they're beef filling. They're not allowed to call it beef filling. They have to call it taco filling because
it's not beef.
The beef has silicon in it to make it fuller and more. Look it up.
That shit is
isolated oat products, salt, chili pepper, onion powder,
silicon
tomato
dioxide.
powder.
Silicon dioxide, anti-caking agent. Now look that up.
Silicon dioxide,
sugar,
anti-caking agent.
There you go, guys.
What does it say?
Love it.
Anti-caking agent to avoid clumping in supplements. It's used to prevent the various powdered ingredients from sticking together. There's many food additives.
You can't have a cake.
It's filler, man.
36% beef.
Oh, it's only 36% beef in Taco Bell.
The other 64% is a wide range of fillers, extenders, preservatives.
Bro, I didn't know that. And you always have some really great information. And Joe, I fucking love the NeuroGum. Joe, you got to start the Neurotonic, bro. It's also good. I haven't ever eaten at Taco Bell. I haven't gotten to experience that. You know, someday I'd like to experience that. I go to the beach. I didn't realize if I got hungry, I could eat the sand, and it's free. You can drink seawater, probably dehydrate you because it's so salty, but I didn't know that. So that's actually really great podcast. And Joe, I'm still waiting for you to reach out to me so we can do our podcast. Let's go, Rogan.
And making fun of me because they're like, ugh, look at her fornicating with a dragon, you know, and I just didn't say anything because I wanted to protect his identity, and I didn't care what people said because I love him. I love him, and but before that, you know, because there was so much deception going on, because I was like Jesus was posing, you know, as this fallen angel was posing as Jesus and this and that. I'm so confused. So I said, listen, I want to know the truth. And I want to know who you are. I said, I want to know what you really look like. So show me your true self. And then he showed it to me. He showed himself to me. And he was a dragon. And the God of Israel is actually a dragon, you know, when he's like, with the blast of the breath of my nostrils.
So Tina Tequila said she met a fallen angel that she made love with. And when asking him to change into his true identity, he turned into a dragon. 2 Corinthians 11:14.
Do you want to see a secret? It's all one big.
Like, why do it? To make yourself look good or what?
How about that?
Y'all, I just read them Epstein files. These rich people was emailing each other like they in a Shakespeare play written by a crackhead.
Oh, that's what's weird.
Russ said he liked the dog that hasn't barked. I'm like, what dog? I'm like, why it ain't barking? Is it about to bite somebody? What's going on? And then I read the part about the prince talking about I can't take this anymore. Man, you started this. You the reason that this pot boiling. Now you in the kitchen burning food and complaining about the smell. Bruh, I'm reading this email and it's reading like everybody in this group think that they a victim when they really the predator. It's like watching a bunch of toddlers covered in paint and they all pointing at each other. And the way that they talk around the crime is hilarious. Rich people be like, I'm concerned about the implications of our recent revelations. Man, just say they caught us. But they was typing like they knew they was gonna get caught. Talking about I feel mischaracterized. No, you feel exposed. Anyways, I'm logging off here for today. These emails feel like the Real Housewives of the rich and nasty.
Like, it's so, the way they do talk is weird, y'all. They're not from here. Like, it's weird. Why are they talking about? Do they just think they're so immortal that this ain't gonna come out one day? Like, you gotta know, one of these days, these emails are coming out. Do they think they're gonna be long gone when they come out? Is that what they're told? Or, like, why are they talking about this? Like, if I was whoever, if I was somebody in those emails, I would not be emailing somebody like, those never get deleted. Those stay forever. I don't understand. I don't understand criminals. I don't understand. They're over there rapping about their crimes, texting, talking on the phone about their crimes. Like, I don't understand.
I want you to explain that to me, Dr. Spock.
I'm afraid so. This is sort of a Twilight Zone football game we're in. Those were some kind of, I don't know what they were. Pittsburgh?
I don't know either. This is where the rivers come together, but I didn't know about that. What are those things flying around up there?
Well, they're just some kind of a illusion.
I hope we get another look at them.
If you ever do get a coaching job, though, I'd like to be hired just to bed check and do things that are important around the training facility.
You'd be my first employee. There it is. Now, what is that?
It keeps saying, take us to your leader. I don't know.
Now, that's another guy I'm going to hire, whoever's responsible for that. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
I truly believe it was Cam Newton. He was trying to get the brother Jason Wilson to do a ritual. And what you're about to see, like I said, guys, a lot of people are not going to be able to see it. It's a demonic spirit on Cam that's going to manifest. Guys, open your eyes.
It's going to look similar like this. We got your camera, or my camera right here, your camera right here, our camera right here. It's going to be one finger, Then we're gonna add the pinky, then add the thumb, and when I say all together, we're gonna say what? One love. You ready? Here we go. One finger. You gotta do it with me, brother. That's just the sign of love. Okay, so I hear you. Can I share something else, please? This symbol is called Mana Canudo. It's a satanic salute as well. Google it. So for me, listen. Google the sign. Listen to me. Listen, Cam. Listen.
Y'all see the spirit? So what you're seeing right now in Cam, it ain't him, bro. It's a demonic spirit.
What happened to Kash Patel? Because no normal person does this at a press briefing when they know the cameras are rolling, unless they can't control themselves. This is not AI and has not been edited other than it's been zoomed in. Now, I wonder, when the FBI has been in existence for so long, do we really think this newly appointed, maybe early 40s, late 30s guy is running the show? He's the director of the FBI. Bro, this is controlled by the hidden hand and secret societies. These folks we get to see on TV are nothing more than puppets. Puppets who exhibit strange tendencies for us all to wonder what the Sam Dam is going on behind closed doors. Now, I wonder if the FBI is interested in, the safety and prosperity and the, security of a nation. Do you think they'd be possibly investigating the companies that are producing the chemicals that cause infertility and basically sterilize the population, like glyphosate and atrazine? Yeah, I'm talking about the billions of pounds of glyphosate sprayed in North America, United States per year, which is shown to cause infertility, but it's still happening. Is that malevolence or incompetence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
No, because this world is sick and it's going to hell in a handbasket. Do y'all know about Nickelodeon and their popular slime? Have y'all heard why? The reasons why? I'm gonna be honest, when I found this out, even like putting this video together, tough. These people are sick and twisted demons, dude. Do y'all know that the reason why they made the specific slime for Nickelodeon, that green color, does it ring any bells to y'all? That green color, that green screen color. Do y'all know why they made it that? And they would be obsessed with pouring slime all over kids on Disney, especially in the early 2000s, in this era, the 2010s. I'll tell you why. It's because when you put something or someone in front of a green screen, you can change that whole effect. You can change the background, you can change, or even if like somebody's like wearing pants and then you put like a small green screen cover over it, you can put anything in that place that you want. And so slime is a really thick, weird substance, and they pour it over these children and they make it a green screen color so they can change the color and what's on the child's head, face, and body. Do y'all pick up what I'm putting down? Nickelodeon is sick. These like, it's never, when we find out the truth of the world, and right now, everything is being exposed. Here in the last like 10 years, it's like everything has never been what it seemed. They do it so they can make this look like you know what. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if you can say it on TikTok in correlation to what I'm saying.
Please don't.
But they make it look like, like the baby stuff. The stuff that makes babies. And that way, when these sick and twisted directors and people who go and do all this, they can look at it as if it's that thing versus it actually being slime. That's why they're obsessed with it. That was why. That was why. About the body.
You know what sucks though? Like all that's dying. Nickelodeon, Disney, CNN, Fox News, ESPN, all that's dying. It's done. It's only a matter of time. So all that darkness is coming over here. It's coming over here. It's not going to die with it. It's got to go somewhere else. Where else? Where did the masses go? Where did the masses go? They're not in front of the television no more. Where are they at? They're in front of the phones. Different type of television. Television we keep in our pockets. A television that a 5-year-old can watch whatever they want on here. if their parents are lazy and aren't on top of them. Which, let's be honest, if there's 5 kids, one of those parents are lazy and not on top of it. So all it takes is that one kid to show the rest of those kids whose parents are on top of it the nonsense. But they're all coming. We're already seeing it with these streamers talking about Illuminati, talking about selling your soul, talking about altars, Ouija's, talking about all that stuff. So it's creeping in here slowly but surely.
Right? Listen, don't move until you need to move it, but everybody think they need to move. Listen, I only move my car when I need to. If it's walking distance, why not walk? But everybody want to use the car and always think they got to move and get there faster. But a lot of times, the slower you get there, the more you can be aware of. Right? Because life about being aware is not about getting there fast.
I started hearing kids around me go 6, 7.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
I was like, what is this? In February of this year, 2005, this rapper Skrilla came out with a song called Doot Doot. I mean, he went into a studio. I think it was called 808 Studios in, I think, South Philly. But they said something about Baby Shark in the studio, and so he just started doing doot doot doot. He says, the way that switch Bert, I know he.
That is the origin of what all these kids are saying. And not just young kids, old 20s, 25, football players on the field, basketball players. Shoot, I've even said it a couple times, not knowing what it is, just messing around, right? Look at the score, whatever. That's the origin of it. This guy. See how I say it's creeping in?
Dying 6, 7. I just bipped right on the highway. Bip, bip. There's really not context with this. What does 6, 7 mean? This comes out in February. And shortly after that, there were highlight reels of LaMelo Ball playing basketball. He's the starting point guard for the Charlotte Hornets, and he is also 6'7". And so they started making highlight reels with this soundtrack playing because 6'7", he's 6'7". And that started getting steam. And then there was other athletes that were picking up this idea of 6'7", including a basketball player for Overtime, I believe it's called. And he had a staged thing where he has somebody ask him a question so he could answer it. And they're like, between 1 and 10, how would you rate that drink, or whatever they said? And he goes, I don't know, 6, 7. And that became this whole 6, 7 thing, right? But this Skrilla artist, he's very open about his practices of what he does with Santeria. He talks about some of these acts that he does. It's easy to write off the idea of 6, 7 and say, it's just numbers. Don't get all uptight. I think we need to understand the person who is responsible for setting an entire culture ablaze with this chant, which is ritualistic. He does not shy away from his practices.
You can put bad spirits on people.
You can put bad spirits on people.
You can put a person's name. You can put them inside the Agun pot.
All right, you can take their name and put it in the Agun pot. When it pertains to 6, 7, Agun or Yemaya Agun means 6, Yemaya means 7, and these are gods that are part of his practice, his worship, because he just brought up Ogun. People were saying Ogun means 6. Let's say it doesn't mean 6. He's still talking Ogun. So he's saying you put it in an Ogun pot, a bowl of some kind that you put their name in, and you're casting spells.
This shit gives you superpowers.
Oh shit! Can I hold it?
Put your face into it. And just see what it looks. I got your soul. Everybody that puts this on,
Yeah.
puts their soul inside of this, though. Yeah. You'll see, though, in a few days.
Yo.
See how it's creeping in streaming? It's creeping in this realm of entertainment. And unfortunately, these are the people that they push out. These are the people they push out and give millions of viewers, right? Because who are they going to watch? I could be doing the same thing as this guy, right? But he's got 100,000 people watching him, and I got 3. Who's everyone gonna click on? They're not gonna click on 3. They're gonna click on the 100,000. So they give him those numbers, y'all. It's crazy.
Barack Obama was made president for 2 reasons: make the black community safe for homosexuality, and go into black Africa and make the resources safe for American corporate exploitation. That was it. He had a gay agenda and he had an African resource agenda, and that was it. That was it. Barack Obama built AFRICOM in Africa, African Command, U.S. military bases strategically placed throughout Africa where the resources are. And now we have a president in Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, along with President Chiani and President Goita of Niger and Mali, respectively. They have built the Sahel Alliance, trying to make Africa free for African people. And now this House General Michael Langley, who's now the commander of AFRICOM, he's putting out misinformation about Ibrahim Traoré, the #1 Pan-Africanist in the world. I'm #2, but he's #1. And they're putting out misinformation about Ibrahim Traoré, saying that he's using the gold of Burkina Faso, not for the benefit of his people, but for his own personal gain. Nothing could be further from the truth. Their brother wears the same kind of clothes every day, eats the same kind of food. He did not accept an increase on his pay when he became president of the country. Extremely humble, just like Thomas Sankara. I believe he might be the reincarnation of the great Pan-Africanist Thomas Sankara, who actually changed the name of that country to Burkina Faso, who was murdered by his own best friend over power. And so what I'm seeing from Ibrahim Traoré and General Goita and General Chiani is exactly where Africa needs to go. Ibrahim Traoré and those other 2 brothers, all 3 of them, the Trinity, they are the most important black men in the world right now, because what they're doing is creating a reality that could potentially reshape how the world operates on behalf of black people in years to come. But they got a lot of enemies, and they even have house negroes in Africa working against them. So we got to keep them brothers, in their prayer. But that Africa that they're going to try to use to overthrow our brothers in the Sahel, that was put there by Barack Obama. He made AFRICOM more popular than it had ever been before.
It wasn't just Eminem's catalog. It wasn't just like what happened was, from what I have heard, is that yes, that sparked interest for Michael to look into who had Eminem's catalog. But early on did a publishing deal. Like, because you have to remember, the kid was broke. He got like, what, $100,000 for his advance or something like that when he first did the deal. So it wasn't like he was swimming in money, and he got famous really fast. And with the kind of fame that he got, he needed security quick. He needed some things. Right. So there was a deal with Big John at Famous Music where they bought some of Eminem's publishing or his publishing outright for a certain term. You know what I mean? And that's how he got early money before royalties or anything like that. So Famous Music owned his publishing. Sony ATV Tunes acquired Famous Publishing. But the rumor was, or what I had heard, was the trigger of Eminem dissing him made Michael say, oh, well, who owns his catalog? Famous Music. Well, let's acquire Famous Music. It's a good business deal anyway. And I think he got a bunch of other songs with it, yeah, but it wasn't just Eminem. It wasn't just like, oh, let me just buy his, because you have to remember, Eminem, if he owned his publishing, wouldn't have sold it to Michael Jackson to get him back.
For sure.
A third party had to have it. So that company was Famous Music, and Sony ATV acquired it.
Do you remember that time period? Were you associated with Eminem at the time?
Hell yeah.
What was his thoughts on it when it happened and he heard about it?
At the time, and that's why I say it wasn't just to buy Eminem's publishing to get him back for Ass Like That or whatever song.
Right.
It was where he dissed him. You know what I mean? It was well after the fact. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I'm sure Eminem was like, oh.
I think that's one of those music industry stories that became folklore later on down the line because the timing matched.
Right.
All our politicians, Tom Brady and everyone that we idolize, we don't know who they really are. Do we? Do we know who they really are? The guy that's up there going, we need to defend the nation and we need to go to war and we need to buy. Do we know these people? Or is it just because, well, he's Republican, he's a Democrat, he's a right wing, he's a conservative, we need more liberals. Is he that? Are they that? Are you really still giving your life to them? You still can't see the circus that they're performing in front of us, laughing in our face.
I think they walk among us, and I think that some of you know. I think we're all familiar with some of them. I think they're right here with us. We just don't know who they are.
Anybody who wants to know about Antarctica, consider a couple of facts. That treaty, there's not one nation in the world that says, no, we want to explore Antarctica. The biggest military expedition in the history of the world was funded, and Admiral Byrd was the top man. But then he ends up getting a radio signal, but it's not from the command center. It is from an unidentified being. He also ends up seeing two UFOs that are not using any understood means of propulsion.
That's a good point. The nations of the world hardly agree on anything, but there's one thing they agree on. Oh, you can't go to Antarctica. Strange. Now I can't say what is and what isn't there, because, duh, I've never been to Antarctica. But one thing I definitely know is something is being hidden there. Something they don't want the public to
know. And I've seen so many pictures, Chris. People that have had these in their phones for a year, 2, 3 years. You blow the meth smoke out in front of a light, okay? And then they're snapping photos, and there are straight demon faces in the smoke of this methamphetamine. It's almost like they're walking through the smoke, or they appear, and it's bone chilling to say the least.
I don't know who need to hear this, but you might want to start praying over the hair you put in your head and them wigs you put on. I used to be in the hair industry. A lady told me 15 years ago, Chinese lady, she used to make wigs. She told me where they would get all the real hair from. Abuse victims, women with cancer, women that went through all types of things, right? And she said, it's amazing how black women never pray over the hair they get. And I said, damn, I never thought of that. You know, it's a spirit. I'm just a messenger. I don't know who want to hear that, for real. I don't know if you want to come to terms with watching what you see happen and everybody seem to look the same. Pray over your hair. Pray over the hair you get out these stores. Pray over them wigs. I'm telling you, it's a real spiritual battle. The battle ain't in the natural, ladies. That's free game.
I really believe that the devil didn't want the picture to be made.
And it's Richard Donner's 1976 horror movie, The Omen. So the earlier signs of a cursed film came very early into production. The lead actor, Gregory Peck, he caught a flight to London to begin filming. During the flight, the airplane was struck by lightning. Luckily, no one was harmed, and it does not end here. Soon after this, executive producer Mace Neufeld's plane also was struck by lightning on its way to LA, and he said it was his roughest 5 minutes. After that, screenwriter David Seltzer's plane was also struck by lightning, and for the rest of the production, David wore a cross around his neck, and he said the devil was at work and he didn't want that film to be made. Producer Harvey Bernhardt was then almost struck by lightning on the street while working on the film in Rome, where the Omen movie begins. It gets even crazier from here because while no one was harmed in the first several flight mishaps, the same really couldn't be said for another private jet that was connected to this film. So this jet was meant to take Gregory Peck to Israel to film an action sequence, and the shooting was delayed, so the flight was canceled. But the cast and crew soon got news that that same jet got caught in a flock of birds, causing the engines to fail, and crashed into the road near the airfield. Everyone in the plane died, and what's even worse is that 3 others were killed when the plane crashed into a car that was on the road. And even worse than that, they were later identified as the pilot's wife and 2 children. That's crazy.
Having said that, what do you know about the JFK
situation there?
Well, understand, my father is through that whole era, and many of the guys that I knew were through that whole era. So all I ever heard, and that I know to be true, okay, there's no question that Joe Kennedy was involved with it. He was a bootlegger.
There's no question.
No question.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that somebody wanted to kill Joe Kennedy during those times because I heard that he was robbing money, wasn't doing the right thing, and his life was spared. In the 40s, 50s,
okay,
during that era.
Got it.
He was a bootlegger. You're not a bootlegger unless you're dealing with us guys. That's it. Okay, no question also, okay, that through his father, John Kennedy we wanted him in the White House, and he was a connection as far as we were concerned. So yes, through Chicago, through Louisiana, they did help him get elected.
They did help
Absolutely.
him get elected.
And I know this for a fact.
Okay, got it.
And now, the government's never going to want anybody to know this. They're going to call me a liar and all that kind of stuff, but that's the truth, Patrick. They never want it to be known that the mob had a hand in that assassination because it makes them look horrible. The government doesn't want anybody to know that. But, I mean, I've heard that consistently throughout my whole tenure in that life.
If you want to look at the, how to solve the riddle, there's no jet engine.
No, we're missing that basically indestructible, fine piece of,
very dense pieces of equipment that weigh over 8,000 pounds dry, going into a wall at 500 plus miles an hour, which planes can't even fly at that speed that low. It just didn't make any
And it was
sense.
a Rolls Royce, according to the narrative.
The jet engine.
So that is one of the most, there's nothing that's completely indestructible, but that is up there,
Name one job that will be here in 10 years, and I will show you a robot that's already doing it.
What about like a plastic surgeon or a dentist doing a cosmetic?
Go to Boston Dynamics YouTube channel and tell me that they don't already have a robot to replace anything that you have to say. Every time somebody says, oh, well, what about a roofer? Bro, a roofing robot was invented 2 years ago. On top of the roof, it will remove the shingles and install new shingles all as it's going over top of the roof. So people are like, oh, roofers, landscapers. Okay, cool. Let's look at the transportation industry. 7 million people work in the transportation industry. Uber drivers, truck drivers, logistical people. All of those people, 7 million people, are they going to be around in 5 years?
What about pilots? There's been a lot of aviation accidents recently.
Everybody's already talking about how within 2-3 years, all the main commercial companies are going to no longer have 2 pilots. They're going to have a 1 pilot cockpit. The rest of it's going to be ran by AI.
Will we ever see a 150-person Southwest jet with no pilots?
100%.
You think so?
Less than 10 years.
I just found out something extremely disturbing from one of Beyonce's songs called Alien Superstar. Now, the intro of this song is actually a sample, but just listen to what it says. It says, please, do not be alarmed. Remain calm. Do not attempt to leave the dance floor. The DJ booth is conducting a troubleshoot test of the entire system. Somehow, while the party was in progress, an unidentified frequency has been existing in the system for some time. And while many of you have been made too brainwashed to comprehend, this frequency is and has become a threat to our society as we know it. This frequency has been used by a secret society in conjunction with Lucifer to lure and prey on innocent partygoers with hypnotism, synchroprism, tricknology, lies, scandal, and pornography. While the party is still in progress, we will keep you updated on our current status. This is where it gets even more weird. Beyonce actually uses hypnosis in her concerts. I mean, look at this one in particular. Her fans were looking at this visual for over a minute with frequencies playing, and then they were flashed words like, whoever controls the media controls the mind, mind control. I mean, and then this concert showed a portal with legs spread around it. She's literally telling us in her music and in her concert.
Mexico have had enough. Massive protests erupted yesterday in several cities, including outside the presidential palace, where Claudia Sheinbaum works and lives. Protesters say that they are angry at the government's failure to clamp down on violent crime in the country. And while it started out peaceful, a small group of protesters started tearing down fences and throwing objects at riot police, leading to clashes and a response of tear gas and fire extinguishers. Around 120 people were injured, with 100 of them being police officers. Now, these protests were triggered by the recent public assassination of Mayor Carlos Manzo, who was very outspoken about organized crime in the country. Demonstrators at this protest chanted, "Carlos did not die, the government killed him. And also, similar to other Gen Z organized rallies around the world, the One Piece flag was seen there too. But to give you an idea of what they are protesting, since the year 2008, American politicians have been murdered. In that same time frame for politicians in Mexico, that number stands at a staggering 1,271. Mexico's 2024 general election was one of the most violent in the country's history, and the CPJ committee recently found that Mexico has the highest number of disappeared journalists in the world. Yet, to date, not one case of a disappeared journalist in Mexico has ever led to a conviction. And also, out of Mexico's 130,000 people registered as disappeared, only 35 have led to a conviction. Now, Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, responded to these Gen Z-led protests by questioning their motivations. She said that they were inorganic, paid for, promoted from abroad, and amplified by bots on social media.
One of the most demonic shows on TV, watch this.
So one of the most demonic shows on TV was I've Loved Lucy.
Wow.
I've Loved Lucy. Ricky Ricardo was a santero, straight from Cuba. And Ricky Ricardo used to sing the song, Babalua Ye. And we used to sing that song like it was like, it was like salsa night. And Babalua Ye is a principality. And we usher the devil into our house by singing the song, because whatever you chant to becomes your God.
See, remember, that's coming from an ex-high priest Satanist that's telling you that because they do hidden things in TV shows to get you to fall into their demonic tricks. And if you stand against demonic, say, I stand against the demonic today, and subscribe or follow for more Jesus content like this. One of the most demonic shows on TV, watch this.
So one of the most demonic
professionals, no facial reaction. They show Michelle Obama opens the envelope, Barack goes like this. They show the envelope, George Bush Sr.'s wife opens it, and she looks at Jeb. And Jeb is looking around because it's his father's funeral. And then Jeb goes like this for half a second. Damn. He goes, half a second reaction to the envelope? Okay, so who gave the envelope? Because in life, let's just say you go speak at an event and they pay you $500,000 to speak. You're like, well, I got paid $500,000 to speak. You know what I want to know? Who cut the check to the $500,000 to you? So in a setting like that, you received an envelope and only 4 of you guys received the envelope. Apparently Trump didn't receive an envelope. Who gave the envelope? It's not your assistant. It's the assistant to who? Whose handler gave it to you? And are those the people? Maybe I joked about it. I said, maybe it's simply the fact that they said to Jeb, there's no steak on the menu tonight. And he's pissed. It's only chicken. We know that's not the case. Maybe they said, hey, Trump did something. Well, what is that one thing? If you only need to look at something for half a second, that means there's not a paragraph or a sentence. It's a number or a word or a letter. Boom. That's what it is. I'm asking Jim Jordan today. This is a very powerful guy, Jim Jordan. He's gone up against Fauci. He's gone up against the Biden folks. He's gone against Hunter. He's gone against everybody. He's gone up against. So I've never seen this before. I said, what do you think's in the envelope? I don't even know what's in the envelope. I want to know. So, Trump called it the amorphous group of lunatics, like a certain group of people behind closed doors that have the power that are doing this. Who could that be? It's going to be tied to people that have money. And who those money people are, we know some of the names. We don't know all the names. But the reality of it is, whoever those people are that can control the knob, somebody like Obama's worth, let's say $100 million, say $200 million. I'll say Hillary's worth at this point, her and Bill, $300 million, $400 million. You know what that is to these other guys? You're nothing. That $400 million I spend on a regular day, just interest on what I'm paying or dividends what I'm paying. You $400 million. These other guys have the real kind of money. So I asked Jim and my interest to see what Trump and some of these guys will do the same way.
So what was the point of MKUltra?
They were trying to figure out, can we really brainwash people? Can we create Manchurian candidates? Can we split people's personalities? It involved a lot of former Nazi scientists and involved a lot of LSD and dosing people with massive, massive doses of LSD. And it was called Super Spy. These women would lure these men back to the hotel and drug them with LSD. We had like Project Stargate, like the Men Who Stare at Goats movie, and remote viewing and all this other stuff was going on. Then they started MKUltra, which involved a lot of former Nazi scientists and involved a lot of LSD and dosing people with massive, massive doses of LSD and ruining a lot of people's lives in the process. But it was an attempt initially to find some kind of a truth serum. And actually the Navy participated in the biggest one, which was called Project Chatter, which is a sub-project of MKUltra. And with this guy, he's a professor at, it's in Hamilton, New York. I can't remember the name of the Colgate University. His name's Dr. George Estabrooks. And he and J. Edgar Hoover are collaborating on a plan to use hypnosis to capture and hypnotize a German submarine captain and give him alter identities. And send him back to his fleet in Germany and have him torpedo the entire German fleet inside the harbor. And this was a legit...
Wouldn't this be a hell of a theory?
Both of the world wars were really just to erase the old world.
Hear him out. It
and
makes
there
sense.
was an entire narrative scripted around who the bad guys were, who the allies are, and it was really meant to just destroy all of these beautiful cities. They took out all of the bells. If you guys haven't looked into why there would be bells in public spaces,
no more bells.
And the healing properties and the harmonious properties that these churches and
I haven't seen a bell in years.
Was built in. Okay, it's sacred geometry, and it's not unrealistic that they started 2 world wars and put, at the time, our best men in every single country lined up across each other because they wanted to take out the most brave and quote-unquote prestigious men for every country.
Now, this is one I've speculated on for some years. I'm by heritage a Jew. I feel like there's a lot more evidence that the narrative was not what they say the narrative was than there's evidence that it was along the lines of what they say there was. I mean, there's been entire books written on, how the situation may not be what they made it out to be. That's the best way I can put it without getting kicked on TikTok. Along with everything else in history, I feel like it's definitely very manipulated narratives. Some things are along the lines of what they say, but, not quite. And some things are just the total opposite or just it didn't exist at all. Just depends on what you're talking about. But this is definitely a shaky subject for me.
I'll pull up Katy Perry, Dark Horse. In the video, she's imitating who? Pharaoh. Pharaoh's doing what? Black magic. I'm coming at you like a dark
All right, just
horse.
do images.
Don't play the music.
Yeah, we can't. We
Okay,
can't
don't play
do
the music
either.
Okay, in this video, which by the way, now go to the one-eyed picture there. You see? This symbol, this is who they're worshiping, guys. I'm going to give you the secret. This one-eye symbol you see when they're throwing up the rock and the fucking one eye and is nothing more than they are aligned with the Antichrist on earth. Okay, that's a Muslim telling you that. The one-eyed liar. Keep going to the left. In this video.
Doesn't the one eye thing mean like a lot of different things?
No, it's going to be an actual human being that only has 2 eyes. It has 2 eyes, but only one works. The Muslims know how he's going to look. Okay? This is all going back to Horus and worshiping the pagan gods of the Egyptians. The most hated human being by God was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was someone that God gave superpower to, right? He was America at that time. They had pyramids and fucking...
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he sent the miracle so he could see it with his own eyes. Okay? And he still didn't believe in the Creator until God drowned him in the Red Sea. And he was drowned in that Red Sea. And they did find that mummy. And they did perform autopsies and found the mummy dated to the same time Ramses would have existed in, that died from asphyxiation in salt water. They found chariot wheels.
Ramses saltwater asphyxiation mummy.
God says in the books, and I preserve you all, Pharaoh, as a sign to the next generation. Brother, they discovered this mummy like within the last 100 years, perfectly preserved.
Perfectly preserved.
Perfectly, nails, hair, teeth, fucking everything. And he wasn't even mummified the way the other mummies were, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't even mummified the way they were.
Members are been something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Some of these,
I haven't heard shit about this.
Well, some of them go into a town and say like, "Hey, I like her and her, but she's 14. Doesn't matter." We don't hear about that, We don't hear about. We're just hearing about some of these mass graves. Why are there women in those mass graves? We just there's a Monterey. They found 3 decapitated females.
Decapitated.
Yeah. What's going on there? You know, are these cartel sicarias? Why are there so many women being murdered in Mexico? Is it just because we have a proliferation of serial killers that are targeting women? Or is it because there's a weird social thing among some criminal organizations where women are being utilized as resources, and once they're done, or just people get away with shit because of the permissive nature of crime that they've fostered across the country, both the government and these cartels?
Yeah. It's I mean, maybe I'm making a leap here. I don't think I am, though. You keep talking about the government's convincing the people that they shouldn't be able to have guns because it causes violence, and this causes proliferation of guns in the hands of the people who don't give a fuck about the laws, which is the cartels. But the government who's telling them that is the government that's paid by the cartels or works for them directly. So it's basically the cartels are legislating to make sure people don't have guns.
There you go. You have a political situation in Mexico in this last election cycle where over 30 some candidates were killed that we know of.
Like what kind? Like governor candidates, senators, type
all
deals?
of them,
Okay.
right? And we have a single ruling party across Mexico, which is the Morena party, which basically took everything in the landslide.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that there is a political effort by criminal organizations or underground organizations to eliminate candidates, right? And okay, so you have this political candidate that won, and they won by a majority. The first thing they do is they go after the Constitution. A bunch of amendments to the Constitution, including this is the big one. All the federal judges and the Supreme Court, the Mexican Supreme Court, basically, and all the judges in Mexico.
Why the will? Highly recommend Narcos Mexico. Shows how it all started. When that DEA agent got killed, it wasn't in the show, but the leader of the cartel didn't want that to go down. But there's been interviews after where a guy said the CIA was in that room because he was going to expose it all. And the CIA was in that room that gave the order to hit him. And that's what brought down. And then when they arrested that dude in the show, he said, "You just opened the gates of hell by arresting me." That's when all these killings and wars and all that happened. Once they arrested that dude after that DEA agent got hit. Good show.
Unveiling the truth. Okay? Because, again, if you have $10 billion, you're stuck. Right? Because you don't want to die. Like, you don't want to, like, it's what we call sunk cost fallacy. Right? You're like, I worked so hard for this. And I have the best life, but I'm going to die. And when I die, all this is gone. I have to start all over again. I don't want to do that, okay? So they're willing to do anything, including worship Satan. In fact, what we will learn is that the religion of Satan became so popular in order to solve this problem, where wealthy people, they want to live forever. And they want the world to stay the same as it is now. But as you learn in this class, it is impossible for the world to stay the way it is. Change is a constant. Things move in cycles. Capitalism gives rise to wealth, but it also destroys wealth. That's just the nature of life. Okay? All right, so that's a Bronze Age collapse. Any questions? Sorry, yeah. Go ahead, Vit. Go ahead.
Why do they worship Satan? Because you said that those millionaires, they want to keep their money forever, and what does it do with Satan?
Okay, that's a really good question, okay? So, it's really desperation, right? Because what religion teaches you is that wealth is bad. And when you go to heaven, you'll be judged by God. And God is going to ask you, hey, why do you have so much money, man? And you'll be like, well, I stole this money, and I hurt a lot of people, and I cheated, I lied, I steal. Yeah, you know?
Same thing in Thailand.
Oh, so yeah, and you was over there. Even when you brought up the chicken.
Yeah. Hey, bro, chickens is this big, bro.
Bro, so they cooked me a dish with traditional chicken. They call it chicken kienyeji. And bro, it was tough. It was hella tough. And they cooked it for hours. I'm like, why this chicken so hard? Like, why is it so tough? He said, yeah, this is real actual chicken. The chicken that's at the restaurant has been injected. That's called broiler chicken. But with the actual chicken, bro, the meat is tough. And when you think about it, damn, that's a lean bird. The meat's probably gonna be tough. So I'll never forget one day, Mav said, why does everybody like chicken so much? And then he did the video saying that people are like programmed, like genetically programmed to be attracted to chicken. Check this out, bro. They don't put eggs in the refrigerator.
Really?
We've seen that.
Bro, when they buy eggs, they just leave. When you go to buy the eggs, they're just outside on a shelf. Like they're not refrigerated at all. So we bring the eggs home. I'm putting them in the fridge. They're like, why are you doing that? We don't refrigerate eggs. You keep them in a cool, dry place, and they last for months.
Damn.
And all the eggs are brown here.
Right. And I've seen that to where if you get the cage free and the free range chickens,
bingo,
they're supposed to be brown.
Facts. My brother the one told me about that. So when I got here, bro, all the eggs are brown. None of them ever get refrigerated. The craziest part though, I'm lactose intolerant. But they drink a lot of milk here. Like one of the tribes that's local here, they don't eat vegetables. They rarely drink water. They only eat meat and drink milk. So I went and got some milk and I drank it. Bro,
Amazing.
I had no reaction to it at all. I thought I was lactose intolerant. Bro, I had no reaction to it at all. I didn't feel sick. I didn't get the runs. Nothing happened. I said, okay, say less. I see they running a crazy program on it.
This has got to be one of the biggest conspiracies of all time. Bigger than 9/11, bigger than JFK, bigger than flat earth, bigger than anything is what the food is doing to us. I mean, think about it. There's fast food on every corner. There's junk in every grocery store, even at the so-called healthy grocery stores, gas stations, truck stops. Everywhere you look, there is something in that store to dumb us down. Imagine if it was the opposite. Everything everywhere was luscious, was healthy. Imagine where everyday people would be. We wouldn't be working 9 to 5s. We wouldn't be full of crime. That wouldn't be a thing. It would be everybody would be prospering, y'all, because I know what good food does to the mind. I know firsthand what good food does to the mind, y'all. That's got to be one. The hospitals are full. Everything, all those people in the hospital is all inflammation. That's all food based. The world, let's just say America would be a different place if everywhere we went, it was healthy food, and how we can get our hands on healthy food, that was a junk food, and how easy it is to get our hands on junk food, that was a healthy food, y'all, the world would be a different place. Biggest conspiracy.
Every 9 years it gets updated. So I'm just aware of the one that's being pushed now up to 2027. I don't know what the agenda is after that. But what I've seen with my own eyes and the online conferences that I've been in with other satanic leaders, this is what's going on at the moment. I said that in 2025, people will be arrested on the street for praying for other people. In 2027, there's going to be a one world religion, and it's not going to be Christianity.
He said in 2025 that people will be arrested on the streets just for praying in public, and here are 2 cases where that has happened. In Spain, a woman arrested in Madrid just for praying the rosary on the streets, and in the UK, a man was actually convicted for silently praying near an abortion clinic. No words, no protest, just prayer. This former satanic leader said he saw it all on the 2027 agenda, a plan for one global religion that replaces Christianity entirely. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
My goodness, don't you remember when you went first to school? You went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the idea was to push along so that you could get into first grade, and then push along so that you could get into second grade, so on, going up and up. And then you went to high school, and this was a great transition in life. And now the pressure is being put on. You must get ahead. You must go up the grades and finally be good enough to get to college. And then when you get to college, you're still going step by step up to the great moment in which you're ready to go out into the world. And then when you get out into this famous world comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again, there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then, suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, huh? I've arrived. I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now.
She sold her soul to the devil. She ran after Tommy Mottola, made him divorce his wife, made him fight his wife for custody and alimony after she'd been married to him for 20-some-odd years. And then she found out she was true. Michael Jackson tried to warn her, she didn't listen, and then she started screwing all the rappers until Tommy was ready to get rid of her, and then he went and got Jennifer Lopez, and Benny Medina came along, and they did everything to gaslight Mariah Carey out of her mind. That's why she had to go into that hospital.
Look what her sister said here.
As a close family member involved in a satanic cult, used to force me to attend certain rituals. There were a lot of things that I witnessed that were like secrets that you wish you didn't have to hold on to.
Tell me what you all think about that, because something is not right here. We all know the new TikTok video that she posted on her page, and it's kinda concerning. And one thing that I can't able to understand, that when Michael Jackson told everything to her, why she still signed up with them, with Sony, right? Tell me what you all think about that. Something is not right here.
Pat and I were taken to a ranch outside of Latuna. Latuna is the town that Chapo was born and raised in. And I flew down to Culiacan with Pat. They asked us to come down, and we were wanting to negotiate to get more kilos north. So that's what we thought the meeting was about. And as I explained in my book, they drove us out of Culiacan, took us up in the mountains to Latuna, and then at a ranch probably 15 to 20 kilometers south of Latuna. And we pull in this ranch, and we see this guy bound in the middle of a corral, and we see all these young sicarios or kids around the corral. And the two soldiers grab me and Pat, and they take us over to the corral. And then they let in 3 Rottweilers, and they ate this guy alive right in front of us. And the ranch owner, the boss, the Jefe, he came out and called us into his house, and he says he was wearing a lot of gold jewelry. He was driving new cars. He was putting himself out there where he was drawing attention. So if you want to keep buying gold chains and driving new cars, the next time.
So next question from Cat55K. Tell us, what would happen if you accidentally go through a portal on Earth? Thank you.
You do all the time, Masters. You go through portals all the time. All the time. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay? The thing is that some of the portals open up into a very similar timeline. A very similar timeline, and you may not notice. You may not notice at all. And you may retract on yourself and walk back through it. Usually you can feel it. If you get energetically sensitive enough, you'll get wonky, right? You'll get pulled in another direction, but you can pull yourself back or not. But you are a endlessly multifractal being, Masters, and there is an infinite amount of versions of you in this likeness that you are, as well as an infinite array of variations, because, Masters, the truth is there's only one of us here. Okay? And you are not a human being. You are a soul, and a soul has no embodiment aspect to it. And it does not get thrust into any aspect of thought that it does not desire to experience. So what happens? Anything you choose to happen, Master. You are source.
Who's your celebrity crush? Nick Jonas. And he was really good looking before it was kind of allowed to think he was good looking. Right. Which was a bit of a problem. You kind of had to wait till he turned to be. Yes. Yes, 19 to 20.
He was really good looking before it was kind of allowed to think he was good looking.
Right.
What a huge red flag. What a weird thing to say. Now, if that was
What
a
a
guy
huge
saying
red
that about
flag.
a young girl,
What
everyone
a
would be
weird
losing
thing.
their mind. But to me, the point still stands. What are you even trying to say? The insight you just give us into your mind, alarm bells are ringing straight away. But with these stars, as they call themselves, they're not stars. But with these egotistical people who think they're above everyone else, they think they can say what they want. Let that just be an insight into this guy's mind. Something that seems to be very common with the Hollywood celeb culture.
Okay, we're at Texas Roadhouse. Is this a camera and their lights above the table?
It's a damn
Just a
camera.
serious question.
We have the chicken salad.
Very odd.
These higher elites drink human blood to get high, and just how can stimulate you and make you feel on top of the world. Drinking human blood could give you a greater feeling. In particular, they want the human blood from children in fear. And I will try to explain the science behind that briefly. Now, as a child, your blood is more pure, but if they can instill fear in you before they kill you, all that adrenaline that comes from the fear, it ends up in the blood that they take from you.
This is a cough prescription from 1962, and I bet it's a lot safer than whatever they give us today. As you can see, it only has 3 ingredients: whiskey, lemon juice, and honey. It has no other ingredients in it, but in today's medicine, you have all types of ingredients you can't even pronounce. And as I was looking at the recipe, I was like, yo, wait, this is actually pretty familiar. Then I was wondering, where have I seen this before? And then it hit me. This is a recipe called cowboy cough syrup. You can see it in the ingredients. You have whiskey, lemons, honey, and peppermint. These are the instructions on how to make this recipe, and it also gives me the dosage. Every household should have this book. You will save yourself a lot of money not needing to buy any of this in stores. They even tried to take this down multiple times. If you're not feeling your best, this book has 250 powerful different remedies. The big companies don't want you knowing about any of these ingredients. This is a doctor who made this book, studying herbs and plants over 30 years. So if this book is not yet taken down, you should see a yellow basket somewhere down here. But hurry up and grab one now before it disappears again.
There were 3 caves.
And this is where in Utah?
And somewhere in the Wasatch Mountains. We was trying to line up to take a device, you know, this recording device like this, and do research. They did. They eventually did. The guardians of the caves and the territory have been in the hands of the Native American in that area for hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of years. They are taught, they are visited quite often, as they said. These people are not, fringe, what I call fringe thinking. They're very solid. They believe in the Great Spirit, a very solid practice of treating one another here correctly, how you'd want to be treated. The caretakers, as they're called, are visited by these extraterrestrials. But there's some big graves up there with people 7 feet and over. Blonde-haired, red-haired, light-skinned, fairly well preserved. I mean, you know, where do they come from? I don't mean there's just one out of many.
Have you seen these, or did you go?
I've seen pictures of them. Yeah, I saw it. They brought back still pictures. Not only did they do video, they brought back still pictures. So how they opened up these caves, they look just like mountains. I don't know, who knows? I don't know, but they got in there. Yeah, there's technology, weapons or things that can heal. There's spacecraft, so I'm told. But this travel stone came out of one of them where ancient records are kept.
Can I tell you baby powder real quick?
Yeah, I know about baby powder.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Johnson & Johnson baby powder, they go to the FDA and they say, we have to tell you something we're a little concerned about. We have found some cancer-causing asbestos in our baby powder, and we're acknowledging it, and we want to know what to do. And the FDA says, well, we're going to study how much cancer-causing asbestos is okay in baby powder. So they study that for 44 years. And they never considered maybe zero. I mean, I had babies. I'd like zero cancer-causing asbestos in the baby powder. They never thought about zero. But they study it for 44 years because time flies when you're covering up something. And the FDA finally ruled on it in the year of 2024, about 10 months ago, after 52 years. They knew it for 52, I want to say effing, but I won't swear, 52 years. And Johnson & Johnson, by the way, still claims our baby powder doesn't cause cancer, which is the worst advertising slogan in the history of the world.
This video is going viral right now on Twitter because he found something hidden in your Social Security paperwork that most people never knew. Check this out.
Look at your social, and at the bottom it'll have that line where it says signature. It looks like just a normal line, right? Until you zoom in, you realize it's actually fine print. This is why you should always read the fine print and look behind it. Look at the circles. There's even more fine print in there. See, this is what they mean by reading the fine print.
So hold on a second. We know that money used to say on it, redeemable for silver or gold, right? It used to say, or, backed by gold and silver. And now it's a note, Federal Reserve note, for example. But did you know about your birth certificate fraudulency? Check this out. Now look closely. Did you know birth certificate? When you are born, your parents register you with the government as a corporation by receiving and signing a birth certificate. In a few years, your corporation will receive a taxpayer ID number called a Social Security number. This is so you can be used as collateral for the governments to acquire debt. That's right, you and your labor, time, and energy is what backs up the national debt. You are stock. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, there's an angle to this. The government getting involved. And I'm not even talking about the straw man sovereign citizen thing. But I mean, this does have to do with that. We're talking about when you get a birth certificate, that some element of ownership may be put over the person with the birth certificate. It's not some organic, happy-dappy way to keep track of the citizens. Woo, we have birth certificates, we know who's who. It's about control. But what if we all said no? What if we all said no? Have you thought about that? Or not even all of us, like 50%, 30%, even 20%. That's a whole lot of people saying no. That would totally mess up the whole friggin' system. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Good luck with that.
Something that is extremely eerie to me is that, the sun set today at 5:40, I want to say, maybe 5:30. Okay, cool. Time only went back an hour, though. In the summer, the sun was setting at damn near 9 o'clock. How does 1 hour now turn into a 4-hour difference? The math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. What are they doing?
I don't know about you, but I hope they get rid of this daylight savings, at least here in Texas, right? Because it does make a big difference. Coming from someone that never had daylight savings into a state that has it, even just 1 hour, it makes a heck of a difference, y'all. It really does. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You know what to do. You made it this far. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know what's going on today. I got baby duty. The munchkin's asleep. He let me do my video. Got to edit it. Get it out to the members. Appreciate all you members out there. But I'm going to get that going, y'all. So I hope everyone out there has a good day. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Later.